Might as well. Now that I actually have a decent internet connection for the first time, and I can't remember when. I thought since my good friend John went live today about 7 times, I thought I would join him and do a live show myself on this wonderful, was it Saturday? It's Saturday night, right? I think it's Saturday. Yeah. So anyway, thought I would go live tonight just to see how everyone is doing. Double S Collects, what's going on? Appreciate you stopping in here. My good friend Two Gun, what's up, buddy? Patrick, hello. Also, I got like a short box of comic books, believe it or not, that eventually I'm going to be selling in like doing an online auction. I have like 13 different lots. I was just going to show you what the books are that I will be selling eventually. I've been meaning to sell them for a while. It's just I have not had a very good internet connection where I've been at for the last, like I said, a couple weeks, and I was away in Orlando for a week for Megacon. We'll talk about that a little bit, and but I should be selling these pretty soon within the next week or so. It's kind of the plan. And I originally brought like 5 short boxes of comics on this trip with me since I left around the middle of December. And this whole time I've been meaning to like offload these books, and things keep coming up, and adventures kind of creep up, and different things are happening. So I still got them, and even brought Gemini mailers with me, and the mailing supplies to do it. So hopefully within the next week, by the end of the month at least, I will have at least some form of a comic book auction to sell. So here in a little bit, we'll kind of get to some of these books. And if you guys have ever bought anything for me in the past, I always start off my auctions at $1, and they're always like lots, like a whole lot of books, like 10 books in one lot, and whatever it sells for. If it sells for $1 a book, I don't care. It's just me trying to make space, to be honest. What's up, John? My good friend John. Hello. Appreciate you, buddy. Garrett, how you doing? It's going good, man. It's going really good. I appreciate you asking. Saturday here, the 23rd. Okay. 23rd in 23 minutes. Okay. Jackknife, hello. How you doing? But yeah, so I just kind of wanted to get on here and kind of give you guys an update on where I'm at now, where I've been, as far as where I've been traveling in my bus, and also been flying across the country to go and hang out with some friends in Florida, which was absolutely amazing. And I posted a bunch of pictures on that. That was over the 4th through the 11th. So earlier this month I was there. What is today? Today's the 22nd. So 11 days ago, I guess it's been. God, it's already been 11 days. I kind of lost track of time when I went out to this lake that I was at for the past week and stuff like that. So that was a lot of fun. I just been reading some anime, reading Teenage Mutant Turtles and Street Fighter comics. There you go. Perry, what's up, buddy? Appreciate you stopping in as well. Perry's a good dude, despite what everyone else says. Sorry. Uh, I wanted to. This is just a random book. This doesn't have anything to do with like the books I'm going to sell eventually, but this was in my. I came across this book, Doll Island, and if anyone's watched me for a very long time, maybe like Two Gun Pedro might remember this book. But this is the very first book that me and Bob ever did our comic book review on, and this is the very first book we ever did a review on, called Doll Island. It took me years to find it, and I brought it with me on this trip, and I forgot about it. Obviously, it's not in the bag and board and stuff like that. I don't the ones I'm selling, yes, but if I get comics anymore right now, which I rarely do, I don't bag and board my books anymore. So the ones in my collections, I don't bother with bags and boards. It's just I kind of like just grabbing it and, well, that sounds horrible, but opening it up, reading it, and enjoying it. So there you go. What campsites have I enjoyed the most? Well, the most recent one I was at was called Mitre Lake, in right outside of Yuma, Arizona, and I just left there today. And the main reason I left today is because I got really busy, and there's a lot of people fishing. A lot of let's just put it this way: a lot of old white beer-bellied men hanging out, drinking beer, and making the outhouse or whatever you want to call it, the toilets there, just fucking disgusting and stuff. So it got a little much, and so I was like, yeah, today I've been here a week. Yeah, I think I'm gonna head out. And so I packed up this morning and came back up to Quartzsite right now, and I'm just in Quartzsite for the night, and I'm heading towards probably Vegas. I think I'm heading towards Vegas. Probably be there on Monday or something like that. So that's kind of the plan as far as what that goes. But I had a really great time at that Mitre Lake, great campsite, really nice lake. It was like in the 80s, and stuff. And as far as temperature, the water was great. I got to be on my paddleboard for most of the time I was there and just kind of explore. And they had some really nice hiking trails. So I went on those a few of the days, and just a couple of days I just sat around and did nothing. So, and that's always kind of fun. But there's been, here's the thing, man. I appreciate you asking. I'm really horrible at remembering like campsites that I go to. I've obviously been to a lot over the last 3 years. I try to post stuff on Instagram and mark it where it's at. That way, my Instagram, it kind of has the time and place where it's at, and that's the best reference I can use. Because there was like a really great campsite I went to in Tennessee. Was that Tennessee? I think it was, and that I was there earlier last year. And God, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. But if you were to ask me the name of it, I don't know. Let's see. Street Side, what's up, man? Appreciate you stopping in here. You thought about collecting Dragon Ball? My daughter likes Dragon Ball. Patrick, what's going on? Patrick's already here. Legion of Comics, how you doing? Appreciate you stopping in here. Psychedelic Comics, what's up? Have I gotten lost? I've gotten lost in the woods. That one campsite I just referred to in Tennessee. I actually got lost. I was hiking I was taking a trail, and the trail ended, and I was like, "Oh, I'll just keep on going. I'm sure it'll be fine." And before I knew it, I was like, "Oh shit!" And like I'm like a mile in, the trail's gone. It didn't start back up again, and I didn't panic. I wasn't too worried because I knew it was on a river, and so I knew if I just followed the river down, I'd eventually get back to where I was campground was. So that's kind of what I did. But that's like the only time I've actually gotten lost. I actually have a pretty good sense of direction when I'm hiking in the backcountry and stuff like that. So besides that one instance, and that's one instance out of hundreds, I've been perfectly fine. But anyway, this, like I was saying, this Doll Island book was the very first book that me and Bob ever did a review on, and by Horsepoint Press. If you guys have ever come across this book, or if you ever do come across this book, pick it up. It's good. It's probably in the dollar bins, or cover price was like, actually it was a little more. It was like $6.99 because it is like a square bound book. But if you ever get a chance, it's a horror comic and stuff. This came out years ago, kind of right before the horror stuff kind of got really popular. And I remember when me and Bob did this review, both the writer and the artist reached out to us and told us thank you so much for covering the book. We were the only ones that ever talk about this as far as online and stuff like that, at least that I can remember. I don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure we were probably the only ones. But just a fun book. It's a self-contained story. There's one issue, one shot by SourcePoint Press back in the day when they were still a thing. Mira Mortal and DNS are the creators. So I don't know what DNS stands for, but it's a fun book. It's a good read. Have you camped anywhere that the bugs were so bad? Oh yeah, man, it's in the South. Anywhere in the South, it's like, give me a break, man. Luckily the desert doesn't really have too many bugs as far as during this time of year. So I didn't have too much time on here, but anywhere in the South, man, holy Christ, they're just freaking nuts, man. And it's just like and I remember Texas was really bad. Texas had a lot of flies, and I stayed at a lake called Lake Whitney in Texas, and like the lake, the water was like felt like it was bath water. It was really warm. It was really bizarre, but I have a bug tent that I can set up and use the bug tent to kind of stay, safe from the flies and the bugs. But I haven't had to use that this trip, so it's kind of nice. Mamaka, hello, how are you? Mamaka, hello, how are you? Appreciate you stopping in here. uh, I've never encountered a bear on a hike. I have encountered a bear and seen it from a vehicle, but never on a hike and stuff. I've encountered some other things. I'm not too worried about it, as far as it's not a common thing. I mean, it does happen, but there's certain you know things you can be aware of your environment to where you're pretty much fine. So. But yeah, I have seen some bears like when I was been in the vehicle and driving and just crossing the road really a few times and stuff like that. So it's been okay. But I want to get to kind of what's been going on since the last live stream I did, which is probably about a month ago, maybe not a month ago, but definitely before I went to Megacon. So I did go to Megacon in Orlando. Some of you guys might have been there who are going to watch this or watching it right now. I hardly spent any time at the con itself, and I didn't have a pass to go to this con because I didn't tell them. I didn't tell this con that really. Hi. I didn't tell this con that I was going there because I didn't want them to put me to work. Because last year they put me to work and I was hosting panels like all day, and they kind of got a little burnt out of hosting panels, especially with some of the writers or artists I like don't really care for. It's like I don't really care for Clayton Crane. I think you guys might know why. And having to host this panel, sitting up there with him, and basically having to kiss his ass for an hour. I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. So I did not let them know I was there because they would have asked me to host some of the panels like I have before. So I actually used my pass from last year and just covered up the date because it's a guest pass. It has my name printed on it and it says guest. It says Megacon, but it does say 2024. But I just put it on, walked in like I was supposed to be there, and nobody stopped me or nothing like that. And I had a great time going to Megacon and just hanging out. And I got to see Donnie Cates, which is great. Seeing him again. We haven't seen each other since San Diego Comic-Con 2023 was when I saw him. Yeah, 2023 at San Diego Comic-Con. And that was about a few months after he got out of his coma and stuff like that. And he was not looking very good, and I'm very worried about him at that time. So we haven't seen each other in a while. It was really nice to see him again. We kind of talked for a little bit and stuff. He obviously hadn't seen me in a while, and I've, lost quite a bit of weight. So he was, pretty like, wow, man, you look great and everything. And because me and Donnie have known each other for about 6 years, and he's really a good dude. And this kind of came out, I think, Bleeding Cool, or somebody had this, but he is on some projects, and I think he might have announced it on his I think he announced it on his X that he's has a project in the works. He kind of told me about a little bit and stuff, so I'm very excited to see him back. It sounds like it's going to be this summer, and it'll be great to have Donnie back doing this thing. We really do miss him, and I told him that. I said, "Man, you're missed. You're one of the reasons I started enjoying comics again. With his new writings and finding his new approach and stuff." So knowing that he's on the path to coming back is pretty cool. You can tell that he's still suffering a little from his accident he had a couple years ago and stuff. I mean, there's still some effects that I could tell right away because I as compared to when I met him 6 years ago and saw him a few times, and we've done panels together. Seen him this time. He's better, but there's still some lingering after effects from that accident, which was a horrible, horrible accident that he was in. But it was so nice to see him again. And one night, once I realized that he was going to be at Megacon, I was like, he's the one guy I want to see as far as creators and writers. But I do have a really good story about Todd McFarlane and his wife, and I don't think I shared that. So I mean, it's kind of cool. Circumstances, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? Appreciate you joining. Let's see. Megacon. Yeah, it was Megacon. Let's Pete, hello, how are you? I'm sorry, I'm getting these text messages from someone, and they're having a little bit of fun with me. But let's see what else. Oh, okay. Todd McFarlane, you guys probably all know the story about Tom. Hey, John's Comics with Kids is in here. He must not be on some other live stream with some random dude like he normally is. So hey, it's nice to have John's Comics with Kids. You guys like his logo? It's familiar. But anyway, Chaos and Comics, what's up, man? I am heading your direction. I think I'm gonna probably be going to Vegas. But anyway, you guys all know, most of you guys know the story about Todd McFarlane and myself and his wife and Wanda, who was my science teacher in high school at Clackamas High School. And me and Todd have talked about this. I met Todd when I was like 15 years old, 14 years old, whatever it was. And, years have gone by, seen him, and the last time I saw him also was at San Diego Comic-Con 2023. And that's when I got him to do me a favor and go say hi to my good friend John Stout, which is also in the chat right now. So anyway, so me and Todd have seen each other over the years. We kind of talk, and he's, oh yeah, it's good to see you and stuff like that. One of the times we saw each other, he took a selfie with me and sent it to his wife Wanda, like I said, who is my science teacher in high school. I have not seen Wanda, Miss McFarlane, whatever you want to call her, since 1996. I think it was 90. No, I'm sorry, 1992 is the year it was. So I have not seen her since then. Okay, so Todd McFarlane is at Megacon, and I'm over at the Comics on Coffee booth, the coffee booth that kind of has been a sponsor of mine for almost the whole time. And they're like, oh yeah, Todd McFarlane's here. We got him to sign one of the bags of the Batman, because they use his Batman cover as the picture on the bag for that coffee blend. And just so you guys know, that was my idea. If you guys buy that coffee blend from Comics on Coffee, and they have that issue of Batman that McFarlane did, I was the one that told them, you need to get the one that McFarlane did for the Batman thing. And I reminded that to Tanya. She said, oh yeah, it was your idea. I go, yeah, don't forget that. But anyway, they got Todd to sign that book, and great. And they said, oh yeah, his wife's there too. I go, really? I haven't seen her. So I was like, man, I'd love to see her again. But like, there was some kind of lottery system to get to see Todd, because so many people want to see Todd and stuff, so it was like really, just packed out. And I was like, well, I'm never gonna be able to get over there, and see him. There's a big huge line. And but I was like, you know what, I could probably, let's see, if I can kind of, find a way. And so I kind of milled around a little bit when he was doing the signing and stuff. And I noticed that his wife was sitting next to him. And I was like, okay. And so I kind of walk on the side there, and there's a lady kind of right in front of their table who's kind of managing the crowd and bringing people up. And I kind of tapped her on the shoulder. I said, hey, I don't mean to bug you, and I'm not here to see Todd. I'm actually would love to see Miss McFarlane. She was actually my teacher in high school back in 92. And she's like, oh, really? And so she's like, yeah, I can, just go ahead and tap around the corner and stuff like that. So I went right on the side of them where the curtain was, and then she let know Miss McFarlane that there was somebody there to see her. So she opened the curtain, and so me and Wanda had a nice conversation. I was like, hey, I go, let me introduce myself, and you were my teacher at Clackamas High School, and da da da. She said, oh, come on around. And so it was really cool. So she brings me around in front of the table, and so here's Miss McFarlane, Wanda, and here's Todd sitting right there, and Todd's doing his thing with his fans that are coming up to the booth. Todd looks over and goes, "Oh, what's up, Mueller? It's good to see you." And I'm like, "Oh shit, that's kind of cool." He remembers and stuff. He goes, "Yeah." She was, and he was in the middle of another conversation, so I didn't want to bug him. But he's like, shook my hand. It was like really good to see me again and stuff like that. And then I just kind of sat there, and me and Wanda talked for probably about 5 minutes. And it was really great because she was a really nice teacher. Before we even knew she was Todd's wife, she was, we still liked her as a teacher. But then when we found out that she was Todd's wife, all we tried to do was say, hey, Wanda, or Miss McFarlane, can your husband come and hang out with us? Can he come and hang out with us? And this, of course, was in the early 90s. And so Todd would come to our school after school and show us how to draw and all these things. And so that's kind of how I first met Todd. But it was so nice to see Wanda again. And like I said, I haven't seen her since in the early 90s and kind of reminisce and everything. And she was only teaching I didn't realize this, she was only at that school for 2 years. So she said she did 1 full year and almost a half of a second year, or maybe the full second year. I can't remember. But it was so nice to see her and just kind of catch up. And then, I can't remember when's the last time I've seen one of my old high school teachers. And she looks great. I mean, she does, she looks, like $1,000,000, and like I said, Todd was doing his thing and everything. And so that was a nice little moment I had at Megacon to not only say hi to Todd again, and kind of, just really quickly, but just, to have some minutes with Wanda and just kind of, tell her thank you for, kind of giving me the opportunity to meet my favorite comic book artist at the time, and so it was really, really cool. So thank you to both of them for taking the time to um, sit with me and to talk with me. And Todd was very busy the whole time, just hundreds and hundreds of people were in his line, if not thousands. And I think I saw a video where he just went out to the audience and just started signing stuff and walking through the audience and stuff, which is great. And did I get a pic with her? No, I don't normally do that. I don't like to ask to get pictures too much, to be honest. I did get a pic with Donnie Cates, and there was a little there was a motive to that because the last picture I had with Donnie Cates, he wasn't looking that great. And I wanted to kind of get a picture with him just so people could see that, hey, he's doing better. So there was a little bit more to that. So if you guys check my Instagram, there's a picture of me and him on there. But honestly, I don't get, and John knows this because John's been with me at like when I do panels and stuff like that. I don't tend to take any video or pictures of any of the panels that I do, and I've done a lot of them, and I've done probably 100 of them, if not more, throughout the last 7 years, and with a lot of really amazing creators, Chris Claremont and Jim Shooter and uh, Mark Wade, some guys I don't even remember their names and stuff. And but I've gotten a great opportunity to do these panels with a lot of people, and I just don't tend to take pictures and videos of that. I mean, they're out there. You can find them sometimes because I've seen videos of the panels like from the audience that have videoed it and stuff like that. But I tend to not to ask too much. Wasted Anguish says, I'm fucking hammered. Okay, be careful. Okay, take it easy. But anyway, that as far as MegaCon goes, as far as the con itself, pretty typical Megacon. I've been to the last 5 Megacons. It was in the building. It was in the year before last, which is the larger building. I'm trying to think if I what's that guy doing Space Ghost? David Pepos. He was there, and I said hi to him because he came on the channel, and we did an interview for a Space Ghost and stuff like that. And he was really appreciative, and he was really. I remember when I first talked to him and stuff. He was like, "Man, what you're doing is awesome. How you travel on the bus and stuff like that." So he's been following me on my journeys and stuff like that. So it was nice to see him and kind of just see him in person. So I like that. I'm trying to think if there's any other creators that I really what's that one guy's name? I can't remember his name. I talked to him a little bit. I don't remember. It was Alan Qua? Not Alan Qua. No, I can't remember. Anyway. Robbie Rush, yeah, man. What's up with that? I'm planning on doing some more cons. I know that Robbie has a con at the end of April in his neck of the woods at Huntsville. I might be going to that. I'm gonna try to. I got some other stuff going on. And then what's the con that we're planning on going to this summer? What's the one that it's in June? I think because we're skipping Washington State Summer Con this summer, and we're going to be going to a different one. So probably those two. As far as the rest of Megacon, it was great. You know what? Hanging out with just the guys who live there in Florida. Heroes Con. Thanks, John. Yeah, we're planning on going to Heroes Con, and that's in June, so that'll be a lot of fun. But hanging out with like Hialeah, Raul, Steve and Jeff, and just those guys. Those are like the Florida guys that live there in Florida. Hanging out with them again is always a blast. And Steve got normally we stay at this certain hotel, but Steve got a timeshare from, I think it was his daughters or something like that. So we had like a 2-bedroom hotel room and stuff like that. For the most part, I stayed there, but a few nights I didn't make it back there not because of me, because I was helping out some of my other friends get home and stuff, or get to their rooms. But it was really great seeing Steve again. We always have a good time. And Puff was there, and a lot of you guys watching might not know who these people are because a lot of them don't really do much YouTube anymore and stuff like that. But these are guys that have done YouTube and stuff like that, and kind of started doing other things. But he had a really great time with them. And then of course, someone you probably do know, Robbie from Pop Culture Philosophers. So great seeing him again. We always have a great time, maybe too much. My good friend John, he was he's the guy that does Stay Punished or whatever. He does those videos and stuff like that. And we've done some live stream together. He was there, and him and his wife, and our good friend Nestor was there as well. And we all just had a great time. And we drank way too much. They've got some really wonderful drinks at some of these places, and we definitely took advantage of happy hour. And I knew that was going to be the case. I can actually hold my alcohol pretty good, so I did just fine. Some of the other guys there, not so much. But man, happy hour at a few of these places was fantastic. The food was great. There's a place called JoJo's Shake Shack. I kid you not, I will go there every single day for lunch. And I think I went there 4 or 5 out of the 6 days I was there, something like that. So the food was great. The nightlife was a lot of fun. Nobody would fucking go with me on the any of the rides, as far as the swings that go up on 450 feet in the air or whatever. I'm not doing the slingshot again. I did that last year, and I have no fear on that stuff like that. I mean, I kind of like adrenaline. But when I went on last year, I hurt myself. So it's like, do I want to pay $100 to hurt myself? And basically, I hurt myself because I'm pretty tall. I'm 6'4", 6'5", and that harness thing that they put over your shoulders is not meant for someone. 6'2" is probably the max you should be on that ride. So I'm like scrunched in. They go, put your head back, and I can't put my head back because it's I'm so squished. So I didn't want to go on that again, but I've done it before. But the swing that goes 450 feet up in the air and goes around, I went on that thing twice, and nobody would go with me. And I mean, there was like a dozen of us, and all these guys are a bunch of, well, you guys can know the word, but I love them all. But come on, you guys, grow a pair of nuts, okay? You guys can handle this. You guys aren't that old yet, and stuff. So anyway, hats off to Robbie that went with me on that ride a couple years ago. He was, crying the whole time and crying when we got off and said he'd never do it again, but he did a couple years ago. So that was a lot of fun. Had a really good time. Uh, that we went and like the second to the last day, or yeah, second to the last day, it was me and John and Nestor and John's wife, and we just hung out for the whole day. Everyone else is gone, and we went had some good food, some drinks, and went and played some putt putt golf at this Pirates theme place, which was just a great time. And so I want to say thank you to everyone that was there in Florida, and my friends there in Florida, the people that came from out of town, Nestor and Robbie and everyone. Just thank you so much. I always look forward to that every year. And a friend of mine said that she would do the swinging with me, so I'll hold you to that. So very cool. um, but after I got done with Orlando, I flew back in to kind of took the I don't know why, but my plane ticket took me all the way to LA and then from LA back to Phoenix. So I flew over where I was supposed to go. So I flew back to Phoenix. Luckily, my bus was still there. I was really worried because I paid for like this long-term parking lot, at this hotel. And when I got to the hotel, it seemed a little shady. I was like, oh shit. I was like, they said it was a fenced in area with like an attendant. There was no attendant, and anyone could walk into this. I mean, there was a fence, but it's not going to stop anybody. And so I was a little worried that either my bus would not be there when I got back or it would have been broken into. And luckily it was fine. And got in my bus and kind of headed to, from Phoenix, I headed out. Where did I go? Oh, I went back to courtside. That's right. There was an event going on in courtside called Schoolie Palooza, or as Robbie likes to call it, which is not the case. He refers to it as Fuck Fest, which is not what it is. Anyway, so I went to back to the Schoolie Palooza event. There's two of them, they're like the back to back and stuff, and there's like one unofficial one, which is like in January, and there's an official one that was this month and stuff. And so I caught the last couple of days of that, which was a lot of fun because my friend Catherine was there, and Catherine is a fellow bus lifer, and we've known each other for about 3 years. And she had a camp with her friends. David was there, and a couple other people were there as well. So she already had a camp set up. So it was really nice going back there and hanging out with them, and kind of relaxing for a couple of days after doing the Orlando trip. And we just sat around the campfire and just talked and everything. So, and there was, it's kind of like it does have a little bit of a rave atmosphere to it a little bit. And there was some guy with a flamethrower like 50 feet away from my bus, just like lighting the desert on fire, like all night long. I was like, what the hell's going on? Because all of a sudden, like my bus just lit up, from this flamethrower. And I look back and there's like a couple hundred people behind me, and some guys just out there lighting pallets on fire. It's like 30 feet tall, almost like a Burning Man type thing. And I was like, okay, as long as he doesn't light my bus on fire, I'll be all right. And so I was there for a couple days, and that was fun. And I kind of parted ways with everyone. And I was like, man, I got to get to some water. I just, the desert, the dust and everything, I need to get to some water. And I did some research in Yuma, Arizona, which is south of Quartzsite and stuff. I was like, I'll go down to Yuma, which is pretty close to the Mexico border as well. And there's a lake down there called Mitre Lake, and the water's supposed to be nice. I see some pictures, and some people mentioned to me that they go paddleboarding down there. So I went down there and resupplied in Yuma, got a bunch of stuff and food, and got to the lake, got a good camp spot. I was like, man, this is perfect, beautiful. I took a bunch of pictures. They're on my Instagram or Facebook and stuff, and just hung out in Yuma for the last week, and did a lot of hiking and got on the water, and just kind of relaxed a little bit, after a week of debauchery in Orlando. It's, anyway. But and then today I woke up, I was like, you know what, I've been here long enough, and now it's time to go. And it was, like I said, it was getting really busy, and I was like, well, let's just head on north, and kind of see where it takes me and stuff. Because I kind of I don't really have a schedule right now as far as anything that's going on. God, I need to trim my beard a little bit. It's just kind of getting nuts. So I'm like, where do I want to go? And so I kind of looked at the temperature was getting really hot there where I was. It's going to be in the 90s here on Monday, I believe. So I was like, I don't want to be here when it's that hot. So if I head up north a little bit, so I'm going to go up through Nevada, and like I said, through Vegas. I might stay in Vegas for a couple days and just kind of do the tourist thing and walk around. Maybe I might just pass it right by. I don't know. I've been through Vegas enough to not have to really stop. I do kind of want to stop and go see the Sphere thing. That'd be kind of cool. But there's a place called Alamo, Nevada, which is about, I think, probably about an hour and a half north of Vegas. And I went there last year, and I can't pronounce it's the name of the wildlife refuge that it is, Paraha, Paraha, or something like that. I don't know. But I went there last year, and God, I loved it. It was a wildlife refuge, had a really nice lake, a really nice trail around the lake that was like 2 miles long to walk around the lake, and a lot of hiking trails. Not very many people were there. Little town, probably a couple miles away, that had the best potato chips I've ever had. Some brand that only is sold in Nevada and Utah, apparently. And so I'm really just going back to buy more of those chips. Uh, so I think I'm going to go back there, and I'll probably stay. I think you can stay there for like 10 days, maybe 2 weeks. I'm not sure. I'll probably stay there for a while. I like it. I remember the old lady that was kind of like the camp host there was really nice and stuff. And I remember talking to her a little bit last year, and she was telling me about some of the things about the area and stuff like that. And she'd always seen me walking around, so she was really nice lady. So I wouldn't mind seeing if she's there. Hopefully she is, because all the shit that's going on with like the forest services and stuff like that, everyone's either getting laid off or being told to quit and stuff. Anyway, I don't want to get into that. It's just a bunch of bullshit, to be honest. I feel really bad for them, by the way. So I think I'm going to go there for a little bit and check that out. There's another place. I don't know if it's on the way or if I'm passing it. There's a Barstow, California. It might be a different direction. That's another place I really like to go to. But I am just making my way north. Is basically what I'm doing. So I'd like to be back into Oregon, my hometown, at my lake. Probably towards the end of March is probably the deal. And just kind of check up on the family, see how my dad's doing and everything, and my son is there and everything. And he's going on a trip to Rome here in April. So I'm really excited to see how he likes that. So he's kind of got the travel bug and stuff. But yeah, that's kind of what's been going on. Haven't really paid any attention to comic books. I know this is called Comics with Bueller. It's not. I did my video came out a little late this week because the internet was so poor. I literally, I did the video and went to upload it, and it was at 10% after 6 hours of uploading. And I was like, man, this ain't gonna work. I had to drive like a half hour into town to get a better signal just to upload the video and then put it out. So it came out a day late. I shouldn't have any more delays on this coming week's one. I did miss the week because I was in Orlando, and I was literally flying the whole day from Orlando to LA to Phoenix the day that I would make the video. So I was just exhausted. So that's why I didn't get a video out that week. So shouldn't be a problem going forward. I think that's the first one I've missed this year. Because I missed a few earlier or late last year. You guys know why. But from then it's been fine. And then like I said, I'm gonna be selling some books and stuff, and I'll show you those here in a minute, but let me just double check some of the comments here. Edwin says, I ever wonder why you never removed my name from your list of donors. It was nice in case you needed to help, which I was happy to do. I have never removed any of the names from the Patreon list, if that's what you're referring to. I don't have that many Patreons anymore. It's obviously something I don't really ask for and stuff, which is, I was always a little uncomfortable doing it before, to be totally honest. But one thing there's a fraction of the amount of patrons that are on my Patreon list now, as opposed to when it was kind of up and going, like big, and stuff. But I have never taken any names off there, because once you're a Patreon, whether you're, donating monies every month or you just did it for 1 month, you're always on that list. So I thank you, my friend. So I appreciate that. Let's see. It's always John. You would love it if they add new coasters every year. The best time to go is after Labor Day. What's this? Something. You should come to Ohio. I'll take you to Cedar Point. Oh, cool. I've been through Ohio, but it was like the first year when I was traveling. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and show you guys some of the books that let's see here, that I'm going to, are those ones? I don't know. These are books I'm going to be selling eventually, and hopefully within a week. And like I said, I sell them in lots. And like this one right here is like the complete run of Crossover. So like the complete run of Crossover. I'll be selling this one, and in hopefully within a week or so. So that's like one of the lots. Here's another lot, and this is my Spider-Man lot. So Ultimate Spider-Man #1. This is the third printing, and then here is #2, which is the first printing, I think. #3 is the first printing. I guess they made a ton of them. This is a McFarlane cover. I don't know much about that one, but it's kind of cool. That's a McFarlane cover. Here is one of the Gleason Amazing Spider-Mans. And here is Spider-Man from the 90s series with Thanos on the cover. So like this will be a lot. And I'll sell this one all together, and start it out at $1. And whatever it sells for, because I'm just trying to make room. I don't really care what they sell for. Like here is another lot, and that will go up here. Agu, what's up, buddy? This is the Contest of Champions. This is like the whole series, kind of a reprint. It's kind of cool. Really great series. Actually, the very first, this, people think it's Secret Wars. It's actually Contest of Champions, which was the first mini-series that Marvel ever did. Thor 331, one of my favorite books. Thor 385. This is Stan Lee. Thor book, great cover. Thor 330. I didn't know I had these on there. And then Iron Man #1. This is a facsimile. So like this would be a lot as well. So that's also going to be starting at $1. Let's see. I'll just go through these. This is a random G.I. Joe lot. So this is like, I don't know, G.I. Joe books ranging from issue 30 all the way up to issue 113, and there's probably about 10 or 12 of them. So that'll be something. What's this next one? This next one is a Spawn one. Okay, that's cool. Like Spawn 300 variant there. Here's another Spawn 300 variant. I think this is just a run. Spawn 301, 302, 303, 304. I think most of these are the Matina covers. And 305. So like that'll be a lot. So very cool. I like that cover quite a bit. Let's see what else I got here. And there's not very many. Oh, this one's cool. This is the facsimile, but this is the foil edition of Amazing Spider-Man 300. Spider-Man Arms Race #1 variant edition. This is another Spider-Man lot. And then Spider-Man The Last Hunt #1. I believe this is the set. 2, 3. These are great covers. And 4. So this will be another lot. Let's see what else I got. This is just random. Punisher #1, Marvel Knights one. Here's an Uncanny X-Men in there, 165. That's for John. John's Comics for Kids. Oh, the Thanos Quest, book 1. Very cool. Very cool book. Here's a variant. Wolverine number 3. That's awesome. Who did that one? I don't know. Venom Unleashed, another variant. Cool. And then the Wolverine versus Hulk, number 8. That's a cool cover as well. They're just random books, just some fun things. Not everything has to be a key or anything like that. That's never really been my thing. Here's an X-Files lot. X-Files books, and it's autographed by the writer on the front of that. So, and that's issue number 1 of X-Files. So there's like 6 books in there. I think I've sold this lot before, and then the person never paid it, which does happen. Here's one of my favorite books. This is the Scumbag run. So I'll be selling all these. This is issue 1 through 14. And if you guys remember, I covered this book quite a bit back in the day when it was coming out. It was one of my favorites. And so anyway, if you guys missed out on Scumbag, you can get the whole run. I got just a few more here. This is like an interesting lot. This is a DC lot. Just some was a Lieber Mayhew covers. Detective Comics 1030. Here is 1025. Here is Justice League number 12. This awesome cover. It's autographed by Scott Williams. I think he autographed that for me, and I think Alex Sinclair did as well. But yeah, and it's a Jim Lee cover and stuff. Nice House on the Lake number 1, second printing variant, kind of cool looking. And then this one's really unique. My friend gave this to me. It's the Superman black polybag one, but it's autographed by, and he didn't have anything to do with it, but since he's like in charge of DC, or was at the time, it's autographed by Jim Lee. But yeah, anyway, so kind of cool, kind of unique, rare. Let's see what else I got. Okay, yeah, this is really cool. This is a deceased. This is a deceased run of the Matina covers and stuff. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, and these are kind of hard to get because, yeah, it's autographed by Matina himself because he's not from, this country and stuff. It doesn't come over here very often, but he autographed that for me a couple of years ago. Awesome cover. And so just one autograph on this lot. There's like 7 different Matina covers, including like the Joker one and stuff like that. But yeah, there's one that's autographed, and it's that one right there. And so I will be, I'm basically selling all my books, everything I have left, for the most part. I mean, I already sold 90% of my collection before I started traveling, and the 10% of the collection I held on to, I wanted to hold on to. Well, that 10%, now I'm selling 90% of that leftover 10%. That's Steiner math right there. If anyone gets that reference. Hey, my good friend Damien's in the chat. Appreciate you joining. Both my Pacific Northwest buddies that I get to hang out with all the time when I go back to Oregon. I do miss you guys both very, very much. John Stout and Damien Sleepy Reader are 2 of my best friends. And whenever I leave Oregon, they're always, with me here, and I care about them both very deeply. And I'm very much looking forward to getting back to Oregon and sitting down with you guys and just relaxing and having a cup of coffee and, having some good conversations. And Damien will probably ask me to go for a walk and in the rain, because that's what we do in Oregon. So, let's see. Oh, here we go. Middle West, the whole run of Middle West. This is a great series by Scotty Young. So, if anyone's gonna want to get that will be available. And I have some others that I have. Like I said, that's that's like one box full of books that I plan on, getting rid of and stuff. I have five. What I said, five, five or six. I think it's 5 books. Or 5 boxes of books I brought with me that I want to put together like in little lots like this, and kind of give you guys an opportunity to get some books really cheap, because I really, like I said, I'll start them off at $1. So if they, if that lot sells for $1, I don't care. I made $1. But if they sell for $20, great. Let's see. I can't think of anything else that's going on. Walked in the rain today. Yeah, I bet you did. Besides that, everything else is pretty good. I really enjoyed watching MJ Comics did an interview today with John's Comics for Kids. I really enjoyed watching that. John's Comics for Kids is a good friend of mine, and MJ does a really good job, and I kind of make a point to watch his interviews, especially with people that I really care about, which is John. And so I actually watched the whole thing. It was nice because I just got to where I was going to camp for the night, and I was like, well, I didn't want to have to set anything up. I just wanted to relax. I just kind of put that on in the background and kind of, just listen to it and enjoy the evening and stuff like that. So it was really nice listening to that. So if you guys haven't checked that out, please go and do so. And I think that's about it. I can't think of anything. My bus is still, like, I posted this before I went on this trip, but it still has like a huge loss of power and stuff. And so I'm just like crawling down the road. I barely could get up to like 65 miles an hour. I do better going downhill, but like even if like wind is coming in the opposite direction, it slows me down quite a bit. And but I'm making it. I mean, I left Oregon and drove all the way down to New Mexico and Phoenix, and with all those issues, and I'm still driving, so might take me a little longer to get back, but it's going in the right direction. Do I miss having a dog with you? I don't. He's referring to my dog, Sam. I do find myself sometimes throwing like scraps of food on the floor. Like, oh shit. Oh, he's not here anymore, because that's kind of what I would do. I really don't, because here's the thing. I don't miss him because I know that he's with my sister Cindy, and Cindy's taking such a good care of him, and I can check up on him anytime. And so it's like, if it was another case, like he just give him to some random person, or I would probably have a little bit more hesitation. But knowing that he's just like chilling in a house and playing in the yard with a couple other dogs and kind of getting pampered like he deserves it, because he's a very loving and kind dog, I don't miss him too much, because he'd probably be I mean, he never, I guess he never complained. I mean, that sounds kind of, but so I think he's doing all right. But I can see him anytime I go back to Oregon anytime. And Cindy, my sister, she lives kind of over by your place, Damien. So if you want to go check on him, I'd appreciate it. Pete says spark plugs. No, it's I don't really know. I mean, I've troubleshooted some things. It's probably the turbo is what it kind of sounds like is a problem. I could be wrong, but as long as I make it back, I'm good, because my mechanic in Oregon can take a look at it and hopefully say, oh, this is what's going on. So yeah, he's got it made. He's doing fine. How's your cat doing there, Damien? You still, are you making videos anymore? It seems like I haven't seen a video from you for a while. Yeah, the turbos do. That's what kind of a few people, like, I reached out when I first started having problems, and some of the things that people pointed out I already checked. A couple things I didn't check. I didn't from the diagnosis, when people refer to as turbo, and my friend Lewis, he mentioned that it was, and I talked to him on the phone. He's like, yeah, it sounds exactly what it is. And then I found a couple other people that kind of said the same thing. Even the guy at the AutoZone was saying, yeah, it's probably your turbo, which you can rebuild, I guess, for not very much if you just kind of know how to do it, and you can watch a video and stuff. And I can probably figure it out, but like $100 or something like that, maybe a couple $100. She's in cat paradise. What you drinking? I'm drinking diet half and half iced tea from Arnold Palmer, and which is 10 calories. So this is like my go-to drink. I drink like this all the time, and because it tastes good and it's only 10 calories, and it's kind of been on my go-to drink for the last couple of years. Captain Comics, what's going on, man? Hopefully you're doing well. I've been meaning to get back in the vids. I have been on Metarog's live shows most week, though. Yeah, I see you on there. This man's living a good life. I appreciate that, man. I try to live a good life, you know, and you know, I've been on the road. It's so funny because like every year, I was like, oh yeah, this is my anniversary. This is my anniversary, you know, as far as like doing YouTube. And this year, I totally forgot. And I was like, oh yeah, I just celebrated my 7-year anniversary doing YouTube. And the reason I remembered it is because Comic Tom called me the other day, and we were talking, and it just kind of popped up. I'm like, shit, man. I go, because our anniversary dates are like 2 days apart, and or the same week and stuff. I go, oh yeah, we've been doing this for 7 years. But usually every year I'm like, oh, it's the anniversary, and I'll post something or whatever and stuff. But this year I totally forgot about it. And but yeah, I have been doing this for 7 years, so it's been a great 7 years doing YouTube. So I guess this would be, I'm now going on my 8th year, I guess. Is that right? 7 full years starting, yeah, something like that. And also, as of February 2nd, I think it was my 3 years since I've been living in this bus. So 3 years I've been sleeping right there on this bus for 3 years. And I don't know if people realize that's been that long already, because it feels like it was yesterday when I left. Poetry, thank you so much. Looking sharp, Wheeler. I appreciate that. Happy belated 7. Thank you very much. Yeah, I did. I still have the vest. It's somewhere. I believe it's in a tote somewhere in Oregon. But yeah, anyway, 3 years on the bus, traveling around the country, you know, been to every state in the country. As far as I've been to Alaska, I've been to, you know, Hawaii in years past and stuff, you know. But as far as like driving and stuff, the last 3 years, I've been to every state except for Maine. Maine's the only state I've missed. And I don't plan on driving all the way back to the opposite end of the country just to go to Maine. And so, sorry, Maine, it ain't happening. I might fly there for some reason, just to check it off the list. But yeah, so it's been a great 3 years, and spent most of the time on the road, you know, and going to different places. And you know, a lot of people say things like, "Oh, I'm living the best life and stuff," you know, or living the life or whatever. And I do. I am very grateful, you know, for what I get to do, and I've seen some beautiful places and met some amazing people along the way. Um, but I do wish I get the chance to share that with someone. And I've had last year, I was involved in a couple of relationships that unfortunately didn't work out. And I would like that to not be the case this year, if that makes any sense. So, you know, it'd be nice to share some of these moments that I have with someone next to me. So you never know. But get a visa and go to Mexico. I'm planning on doing that. That's my friend. There's a bunch of my friends in Mexico right now, and they keep on like messaging me like daily. So I'm like, yeah, okay. Next season we're going to Mexico, And because I don't think I'm gonna do courtside again next year. There was a bunch of us that are like, you know what? We've been doing courtside for the last few years. Let's go somewhere else. Let's go for the winter months. Let's go somewhere else. Let's go, you know, find a new adventure or something, you know. So I don't think I'm going to be doing course. I might pass through it and stay for a couple days, but not like a month or two at a time. So probably not going to do that again next year or next season or whatever you call it. But yeah, Mexico is on the list, and definitely next year I will be going to Mexico. It's already a caravan of people I know that are going there. So, and they just hang out on the beach, which sounds horrible. So yeah, that's kind of what's going to happen. Let's see here. Three freaking years. Wow, I wanted to do it when you did, and it seemed it's been 3 years. This is the year I'm getting out there. That's awesome, man. That's really cool. I tell people all the time, and my hat's off to my son right now. He's kind of getting the travel bug, and he did that trip to Tucson, which is great. I'm so proud of him. I actually got to go see him, and now he's doing a trip overseas to Rome, and he's just taking some initiative to kind of get out there and travel when he doesn't have a lot of things that are kind of preventing him from traveling. So I've been kind of pushing him to do it, and to see him finally do it, it's great. And I'm really excited for him to see where it takes him. He's got a good job. He's got a nice place, so he can he can get some time off and enjoy some of the places. But yeah, it's if you're on the fence about I talk to people all the time about doing like van life or bus life or whatever you want to call it, and you can't be afraid to fail because you might fail. You just kind of have to do it, and I was scared to death the day I drove. I drove. I left. Selling my house, selling my possessions. And packing up everything into a 20-foot bus with 10 feet of living space, and pretty much putting everything else I have in a storage unit. It was literally a 5x5 storage unit, which I don't even have anymore. I don't even need it. So I have like a few totes at my dad's place, or it's not my dad's house. It's in a storage container on the property that we all have. Um, I always refer to it as my dad's place, um, but it's just there. And because I just don't have any stuff. But I remember when I first left, I was like, okay, did I make the right decision? Did I just like royal the fuck up, and stuff? And I was like, we'll find out. We'll figure it out as we go. And I bet on myself, and I pulled the trigger, and I haven't looked back. And I don't think there's ever been one time when I've been like, man, that was a mistake. I don't think I've ever said that. I can't think I've ever had that thought in my mind, which is kind of nice because, a lot of times you do second guess yourself, but I don't think I ever had a mistake once I left or felt as though it was a mistake. There was a few times I was like hesitant, but it wasn't like, man, I really just messed up. So if you get a chance to go do something that you know, that you've always wanted to do, just do it. Why not? And enjoy your path, and have fun. So, but yeah, let's see. Yeah, Rome. Yeah, he's really excited. I think he got all his passport and stuff taken care of, visa and everything. So he leaves in April. I think the first week of April, or maybe the second week. Is he still? Yeah, he's still in school, doing his thing, and he's still working for obviously still working for the Fred Meyers, and then also for the college as well. So he's still doing both jobs, and the cat's doing good. Also, my old cat, which he kind of took control, or took over. Is your Wi-Fi password still by the secret location? Sure. I don't know. I don't use a password on my Wi-Fi. I leave it open so people can see exactly what I'm doing. That's how I live on the edge. But yeah, so I'm just kind of camping here tonight at this place. I'm just out in the desert. There's other people around me, but there's not too many people here anymore compared to what it was earlier this year. So I'm just out in the desert tonight with decent internet connection, and then I'll be heading out tomorrow north a little bit past Parker, and then by hopefully within the next 2 or 3 days I'll be where I want to be for a little while. So that's kind of the plan. Anyway, that's it. Unless anyone else wants to talk about anything else, I don't know what's going on in the comic book world. I think we talked last time I went live. I think I talked about a little bit about Diamond, and pretty much the same deal. I don't know if any news has popped up about that. Can't think of anything. Yeah, I think everything's fine. Great. So I do think I feel as though I'm missing something, but I can't remember, so it must not be that important. But I want to say thank you to everyone who's in here. Agu, thank you so much for joining, buddy. He's also a friend of mine. I know him personally. I was saying this earlier. We're not going to be at the Washington State SummerCon this year because we're going to Heroes Con instead. So probably not going to run into you at Washington State SummerCon like we have in the past. But my good friend John Stout, Sleepy Reader, Damian, Pete, Jackknife, Poetry, Captain Comics, and everyone else that jumped in here. Appreciate it. And yeah, I think I'm going to let you guys go. It's been about an hour. And I'll try to do more of these live streams every couple weeks and stuff. And just kind of keep you guys updated with what's going on. And like I said, I'll be selling those books I showed hopefully within probably next week sometime. So I'll figure something out. So did Alex quit the show with Rex? Alex is no longer with Dynamite. Yeah, so Alex is no longer with Dynamite, and myself and Dynamite are no longer doing the auctions that we did on Thursdays. And Alex not being there kind of has a lot to do with that. To be honest, there's no ill will. Please don't read something into it that's not. It's just they got a lot of stuff. Dynamite has got a lot of stuff going on because of what happened with Diamond and everything, and restructuring, and people are no longer there, and it's just a lot for Rex to handle. So I was like, hey, no problem. We'll take a hiatus because we were already kind of on a hiatus because of what I was dealing with when I was in Oregon before I left on the trip with some family things and some friend things and stuff like that. So it was okay. So anyway, okay, everyone, appreciate you guys, and I will see you soon. All right. Have a great weekend, everybody. Hey, live your best life. That's all I got.